Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to take a little bit of a look at the 10 most expensive cards likely from the upcoming Astral Radiance expansion. What we've gone and done is I've had a look on sites like TCG Player, had a look around eBay, etc. And I've got a rough guide of about what the cards are worth now. But I've also had a look at some equivalent cards, and hopefully I'm able to give you a bit of an insight as to how much they're going to be worth in the not too distant future. Please do remember, and I told you this in the video the other day, but this is really important, the set does not release until Friday. Now, unless this video gets bumped because some news drops, we're dropping this on Tuesday, 3 days before the release. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, now is not the time to go and buy singles. Just chill out a minute. Just wait until the set is out proper, and then we can roll from there. Couple of honourable mentions that didn't quite make the list. Both Roxanne and Gardenia's Vigor are very, very close to making the list. What we've got here are essentially two full art supporter cards of fairly popular characters that are good cards. So expect them to be very much worth pulling. So coming in at number 10, we've got the Gold Path to the Peak, which honestly makes me a little bit sad because I love these gold Kato stadiums. I would like them to be cheaper. That's currently trending around the $35 mark. The thing is, what we've got here is a very playable card, and it's a secret rare gold version of it. It's a stadium that turns off abilities of rulebox Pokemon. It's great. Here's the thing, though. The last time we had a really good stadium card that was seeing a huge amount of play and we had a gold version, it was probably Giant Half. Or actually, we could even go and have a look at Power Plant, which was, of course, a very equivalent card because Power Plant turned off abilities of EX and GX Pokemon. They're $10 cards. So maybe Path to the Peak ends up being way more expensive, but right now, this looks to be about a $10 card moving forward. Now, in at number 9, we've got Darkrai VSTAR, which is currently trending at a $35 card. And look, Darkrai VSTAR is a good card that I have predicted pretty strongly is going to end up being a really good card. Because 2 energy, 30 damage, plus 30 more for each darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And we've got ways to accelerate darkness energy, plus an ability that lets you put 2 item cards from your discard pile into your hand. This is really good. But the fact of the matter is that outside of one exception that we'll mention in a minute, V-Star Pokemon, I mean, look, you've got Charizard V-Star, which is moderately playable and a hyper-popular Pokemon, and that's like a $15 card. Whimsicott has proven to be a playable card, although admittedly not a terribly popular Pokemon. That's a $5 card. And I know that Darkrai is popular as a Pokemon, but it ain't more popular than Charizard, and it might be more playable, but I don't understand how Darkrai settles above $20. And I think right now, Darkrai, $35 seems ridiculous. In at number 8, we've got Palkia V-Star, the regular version, and this one makes a bit more sense, because Palkia's going to be, it's going to be this or Arceus, as to what's going to be, or Mew, I suppose, as to what's going to be the best deck in the game. Arceus, incidentally, is the outlier. That is the one V-Star that is very expensive. We'll use that as a comp in just a second. So this is a phenomenal card that's going to see a huge amount of play and is going to be a tier 1 deck. We've seen that over in Japan. 2 energy, 60 damage, plus 20 more for each bench Pokemon, yours and your opponent's, plus an ability that can accelerate free water energy. Yeah, it's great. And right now it's selling for about $40, which isn't that ridiculous, but I don't see how this settles higher than Arceus, and Arceus right now is a $30 card. And the thing is, we know that Palkia is good, but we also know that Arceus is good. And we know that Palkia is good as its own deck, and we know that Arceus is good in like 74 different decks. So I don't understand how Palkia is better than Arceus. It's not. Now, you could argue that Palkia is better than any one version of Arceus. That's a discussion we'll have over the next few months, couple of years. However, as a card, Arceus is more adaptable and is just a better card. So there's no way that Palkia ends up $10 more expensive than Arceus. Don't expect it to settle at more than about $30. In at number 7, we've got Samurott VSTAR, the gold version, which is coming in at around about $40. Now, I like Samurott personally. I think it's a really good card, and I think it's going to be a really good deck. And I do believe that sincerely, incidentally. I think it's got a really nice attack that for 2 energy can KO pretty much any Pokemon V, as long as they've got damage on. And with Dark Patch coming back into the format, allowing you to accelerate energy super easily, this becomes a really good deck. The thing is, this is way too expensive. Like, the only gold V-Star we had in Brilliant Star, so the only one we can use as a comparison, is Arceus, which is currently like a $45 card as a gold card. And let's be 100% clear, this is miles away from Arceus. There's no way this ends up about the same, $5 away from Arceus. That's absurd. So, like all the cards on the list, it's too high, but you're still talking about a very good V-Star and a gold version of it. It's pretty cool. Now, in at number 6, we've got the Rainbow Rare of Palkia, and basically what we said about Palkia a minute ago still holds, except the Rainbow Rare of Arceus is a $30 card. As a fun little side note, the regular art and the Rainbow Rare of Arceus have both settled around about $30. People just generally don't like the Rainbow Rares. The gold, they're a bit more valuable, but the Rainbow Rare and the regular settle about the same. So, at the moment, Palkia V-Star Rainbow Rare is about a $50 card. I could see it settling at about $30 in line with Arceus, but I think it should be a bit lower. I wouldn't pay more than about $25 for this, not at the moment. It's probably trending right now at about double what it should be. Now, in at number 5, we've got the Machamp V alternate art, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, this is a $55 card, and this is the one card on the list where I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know. I don't. I'm sorry, I have no idea about this. Because on the one hand, what we could do with Machamp is we could sit here and compare it to Genesect, the alternate art of Genesect. They're both Pokemon V, except Genesect is a billion times more playable. It's one of the very best cards in the game right now. And Genesect V, as an alternate art Pokemon V, despite being infinitely more playable, is like a $25 card. So I could look at that and go, well, hang on a second, this is way too high. But then again, we could look at Dragonite V, which is an alternate art of a not particularly playable Pokemon V, but of a really popular Gen 1 Pokemon, and that's currently trending at around about a $70 card, which is actually more than Machamp. And I don't really understand the alternate art Pokemon V. There seems to be no real rhyme or reason to them. If we compare it to Dragonite, this is a bit too low. If we compare it to Genesect, it's way too high. And yeah, Genesect's a way better card than Dragonite, but Dragonite is a more popular Pokemon, so I'll be honest with you, this is the one time in the video where I'm going to say, I think you guys have to figure this one out for yourselves. In at number 4, we've got the Gold Palkia V-Star, and it's Palkia again. But now it's the gold version, and obviously this is the most sought after version. I do expect to see what we saw with Arceus, which is to say that the Rainbow Rare and the regular end up about on a level, but I expect the gold version to be a fair bit more expensive. Right now, this is trending at about a $65 card, but expect it to actually end up about $45 or a bit less, because again, and I've said this all the way through the video, there is no way this is on the same level as Arceus, so there's no way this has the same value. I know it's a phenomenal V-Star, and it could end up being a better deck than Arceus. The thing is, it's really one deck, whereas Arceus is a billion different decks, so no, this should not end up as high as Arceus. In at number 3, we've got the full art of Arita. Now, this is currently a $70 card, and it's because it is Arita, who's a popular character, and it's the full art. The Rainbow Rare's not on the list. Nobody likes Rainbow Rares. The thing is, Arita's not as popular as Marnie. And as a card, this is not as good as Marnie, and the full art of Marnie is about a $40 card. So don't expect this to be double as good as Marnie, or 75% higher. The reality is this is being massively overinflated right now. It's a less popular character and a less good card than Marnie. It should not be $30 more. And don't get me wrong, this is one of the chase cards from the set. I expect the top 4 to not really change. I think from 5 to 10 we can see some movement. I expect the top 4 on this list to stay really quite steady as the top 4. I expect Arita to be the 3rd or 4th most expensive card in the set, but $70 seems a little bit rich. In at number 2, we've got the alternate art of Palkia V. Another one that fills me with a little bit of sadness because I love me some Kato. And this isn't my favourite style. Kato's got 2 styles. This is my least favourite of them. But it's still a beautiful card, and it's still a Kato card, and I still want it in my binder. Right now, it's sitting there as a $90 card. It is outside my price range. And I don't have a great look for this, but I think a fair comparison to this would be to, say, Espeon. Espeon is a more popular character, and it's a VMAX, not a V. But then again, Palkia looks like a phenomenal deck. Espeon really isn't. So I would expect these to be somewhere in the same region. I would expect this to drop a little bit and end up at around about a $70 card. However, playability is not always a reason that keeps these up there. So, although I'm saying about $70 now, I would not be surprised to see this one dropping. It is Palkia though, it is a legendary, so I'm saying about $70 now. This one is a bit more predicty than some of the others. And number 1, by a bit of a margin, a pretty definitive number 1, the alternate art of Dialga. And partly this is because everyone loves Dialga, it's a pretty popular Pokemon, but mostly people have looked at this card and decided, you know what? This is an absolutely phenomenal, beautiful card. And it is drawn by the lovely Mitsuhiro Arita, so we know it is pretty awesome in that regard. Dialga is not as playable as Palkia, but it's a more popular Pokemon. People like the artwork better. As people get more and more into artists, people are realizing quite how good Mitsuhiro Arita really is. I expect this to settle as the number 1 card. Right now, it's sitting there at about $140. But does anyone realistically think this is going to outpace the EVs? I don't think this is going to outpace the EVs. So we can look at something like Sylveon VMAX as an example, and that's somewhere in the region of $120, $130 card, and I don't expect this to be as popular as the EVs, plus the VMAXs do have lower pull rates. So I'm guessing this will settle somewhere around $100. My thought process here is essentially it's going to settle below the EVs, but it's one of those right now where, well, we don't really know is the honest answer. We could compare it to Sylveon V, rather than just comparing it to the VMAX. The problem we have there is that the Sylveon V has never been a particularly hyped card, not like this one. So Sylveon V is like a $50 card, but this is a better card than that in terms of hype. So, I don't know. I'm saying this is about roughly the same, and we'll figure it out from there. For now, ladies and gentlemen, that's your list. That's the top 10, and now I want to hear from you guys. Which of these do you think might drop off the list? Which cards might jump up? What do you think they're all going to settle as? Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.